Tuesday, so call day, where I spend way too much time at that desk. So sparkling water is in store for my next call in 9 minutes. So pricing. Pricing services is pretty difficult. It's both an art and a science, right? There's science-based is demand-based, and art is, how do I feel about it kind of thing. And the reality of pricing when you're trying to run a lean business is that the best type of pricing is velocity-based pricing. And velocity-based pricing means that you're pricing based on how easy and simple and fast it is for someone to actually join your programs. And so I'll tell you a story. When I launched the Syndicate, it was $250 a week. And I did $250 a week for the first 20 founders. And that sold out in about 7 days, where people joined on the founders rate of $250 a week. Then it went up to 300. Then it went to 350, and then it went to 400. And that's over the course of about 7 months. And in that course of time, as I put the price up, the way that I sold it didn't really change. I would say I've got the Syndicate open, and if you want my help to build a 100K a month business, then reach out and I'll get you the details. I'd send them the Google Doc. We might have a really quick conversation of like, what are you doing? What are you working on? What do you want? And then they'd join. And then about 8 months ago, I put the price of the Syndicate up to $500 a week. And I had this big jump in doing it. And it's a 25% price increase over the existing price. And what happened was interesting, because what happened lowered the velocity of my ability to sell. And what happened was I got the same number of people reaching out to join the Syndicate. I got the same number of people who wanted to build a solo consulting business to 100K a month. But I had to do a lot more selling. I had to do a lot more chatting in the DMs, a lot more back and forth on email, because I don't do sales calls, and that's the whole point of the whole system. And there was a lot more qualification, there was a lot more clarification. And what I realized is that at the time, I didn't have the pre-selling and the sales environment set up, so those conversations were natural and easy. So what I was forced to do was have a lot of conversations in the DMs, which isn't where I want to spend my time, or back and forth on the email, which is where I don't want to spend my time and my prospects want to spend the time. And what I realized that I needed more infrastructure in place, more long form content, more videos, a book, and these things to qualify and have a sense of what happened inside it before anyone actually reached out and got the offer. And so what I did is I lowered the price. I took the price back to $400, and that immediately, the same number of people joining, the same number of inquiries, the lead flow didn't slow down. It just was easier and faster to sell. And I have subsequently put the price back up to $500 a week, but I have a lot more stuff in the middle to people are reading the book. They're watching long-form videos, they're consuming a lot of content and context about what the sovereign system is and the mechanisms we use. And so velocity-based pricing is predicated on the fact that you make it easy to get people started. Because what happens when people come into my world is they tend to expand their involvement in the world up to the level that they're comfortable with. People buy one-on-one with me, people buy trips to Bali, people come and actually have experiences over and above that what they get in the Syndicate, and I've made it really easy for them to get started. And so velocity-based pricing has the frame of, I'm going to price this product based on the goal it has. And for me, I want people to come into my world and get started and have a call with me and get some help and start to design an offer and get some results quickly. Because I found that once people get results quickly, we can build momentum and keep them going, and that they stay for a pretty long time once they get started. So for me, pricing is about how simple can I make it for someone to get started? How can I price this that's simple for them to get started? But also on the other side, how simple is it for me to sell? And these days I don't do really any selling whatsoever. I don't do any convincing that someone should be in my world, someone should join it, etc. I just put an offer together and make an invite. If they've got questions, I answer them. But I do almost zero, like, you should do this, you need this, and pretty much zero diagnosis in there. I just understand whether I'm useful for someone and make an invite. So I price my products based on how easy it is and simple to get started. This means I'm never going to be the most expensive person in the market. There are people who do what I do who charge 10 times more than me. I won't talk about results, but their goal is to maximize the individual revenue that they get from a customer, and they're prepared to do a lot of selling to it. They're prepared to get on 1 or 2 or 3 phone calls to do it, and they're prepared to do that. I am not. I'm not prepared to spend a ton of time working out whether we're a good fit. I want people to understand whether it feels right, it seems right, and we've been very clear about what happens inside the world and the goal. So velocity-based pricing for me is all about getting people started. There are different pricing goals you can use, but velocity works for me, and it enables people to get started in my world really easily. It enables them to leave really easily as well, because we charge weekly. So there's many, many ways to price. You can be the highest price in the market, and there's a market for it. You can be the cheapest, but if you have a goal around pricing and choose the right prices and the right mechanisms to sell, then you'll always get it right.